name is Ashley Lomboy. Nice to meet you. I am a member of the Waccamaw Siouan Tribe and also the founder of Waccamaw Siouan STEM Studio. Thank you for tuning in. I know I apologize not being able to be there today with you in person, but thank you for your attention and making space for STEM Studio to share about our new and exciting grant that we received from NIFWIF and from the Nature Conservancy. And so we thank them. We thank you for having faith in us, and also for helping us move our tribe forward. And so I want to share some with you today about the grant. I won't talk too much about Waccamaw Siouan people. I do have a video out there. I'll send a link along as well that shares more in detail about our people and our connection to our land and our water and really where we're located at in the great state of North Carolina. And so I want to share with you about this new and exciting program. It's called Hooheh, which stands for Longleaf Pine in our Waccamaw language. It's a part of our revitalization of our language to be able to call our programs and what we would traditionally call them. And so in regards to Longleaf Pine in this instance, we were very fortunate to have the word for pine to be recorded by John Lawson in 1710, so that we can now today begin to call and reinvigorate our language back to our people and regift that. So as a part of the name for the program, it's called Hooheh Reforestation and Resiliency Program. It is really to, one, engage with our tribal youth, most importantly, but also about reinvigorating our tribal community with longleaf pine and regifting that back to them. Also with control and cultural burn program. And so it is an 18-month program beginning January 1. I'll tell you some about it. It's a multifaceted program that requires community engagement, planning, the ability to adapt our current systems that we think about, and adapt them into Indigenous ways and into our community. And that's going to look and feel quite a bit different than what you may do when you think about reforesting of longleaf pine, or even prescribed burning or control or cultural burning in this case, is we really want to keep our tribal community at the heart of that, while simultaneously want to make sure we're building relationships like with folks like yourself and establishing a longleaf pine community within our tribal community and encouraging those opportunities for our tribe to participate in the decision-making, economic development, and co-management of our own ancestral lands. And so this program has three major parts to it. The first one is planning and reforestation. So our tribal community, we have about 20 acres of tribal member or tribally owned land that we're working to reforest. We'll be engaging with the youth and how we go about doing that. And so what we really want to do with these 20 acres is to really use it as a pilot about how do you engage with tribal communities. Sometimes whenever you think about land usage, there's a lot of trauma that comes with that. And so coming in and saying, hey, we're going to manage your land, we're going to, use your land. Well, what happens in 10 or 15 years? How long is this agreement for? I don't want you on my land, maybe not. Things may change with my family that says, hey, in 5 or 6 years, I may need to use this and give it to my son. Circumstances change drastically, in our own life. So to have the excess of land to commit to being able to do this long term, really kind of turn this into more of a pilot program for reforesting of longleaf pine than it is, a full program, right? So we're kind of testing the waters with tribal community. You have to show proof and concept. So starting with 20 acres feels really appropriate for the size of our tribal community of about 1,600 tribal members. Right now, we're working with our tribal council to use tribally owned land. We're looking at acquiring more land. And so I'm using those 20 acres to clear and to reforest with longleaf pine is really important. The other part to this too, that came along after we submitted the grant was some soil findings from another program we have within STEM Studio to test the soil in our tribal communities for hard metals heavy metals and also PFAS. And what we found was that we had up to 7,000 parts per trillion of PFAS in our tribal soil. We're working through the process of getting our water tested, but understanding that in our soil we have nearly well over the amount that we should have in the soil, and that cancer-causing element really helps. It's a bad thing, right? But the longleaf pine, this can be seen as a way to help combat the PFAS in our soil in more of a natural way. As we know, longleaf pine can remove those toxins from the soil. And so this is also another way of us kind of hooking in our different programs across STEM Studio and being more solution-based in our tribal youth, helping to drive that. Being a part of the solution, not just identifying problems. Okay. So reforesting and replanting of longleaf pine is very important, that we have good partnerships while we go about doing that. The second part is our cultural and prescribed burn program. In this case, we're taking a different type of approach. We have a control and cultural burn program coordinator we'll be hiring. We already have that person identified. They'll go out and spend time with tribal nations who have been doing cultural burns for some time, and really learn from them. So we have that built into the budget. We're excited about tribal to tribal communications and education, and their willingness to learn and teach us to really reclaim that back as being our own, as something that we can learn. And regifting that back to our tribal community. And so that's really kind of the first part, is to get our person trained. The second piece to this is in small rural communities, as all of you know, you have probably more of a difficult time of getting volunteer firefighters. And so what we're doing is using the program to help bolster the need for, I would say, help support the need for more volunteer firefighters, so we can help use a participation in our new program to help supplement some of the payment for volunteer firefighters, where to be a part of the program, you need to also be a volunteer firefighter as well. And so we're really excited about that. We've been actively listening to tribal community about needing more volunteer firefighters. And if we can use the program as a way to compensate better for your participation in both cases, we want to try to do that. We'll also be purchasing equipment. As you know, you need prescribed burn equipment, working with the local fire stations to help us in storing that. Also provides them some equipment that they can use as well. So really looking at ways where we can benefit the most from the program, and working in our tribal community in that capacity is really going to help with that. The last part, I would say the third part to the program, and as you know, STEM Studio is known. We're about STEM and education, is a 1 week I call kick butt program and summer camp. You know, we heard the tribal community talk about, we need a summer camp, we need a camp, we need a program where we can spend time with the kids, to really educate them during the summertime whenever they're looking for activities to do. We want to be one of those activities. And in those activities, really teaching about longleaf pine, about how beautiful they are, about how they are on the landscape, and also about how you manage them with fire. and fire not being seen as kind of, bad news bears, but it being seen as a tool that we can use to really help control and grow longleaf pine in our community. So we're really excited about the 1-week summer camp that we'll be doing this coming in 2024 and getting that started. And lastly, our tribal community has a very long memory, and we want to document that tribal history and the remembrance of fire and using fire in those stories. And we want to try to create a really a kind of a living library of here's what we remember when it comes to fire. Here's what we remember with longleaf pine, where we remember seeing them, what happened whenever we stopped using fire to control the landscape, and how it can help us today to bring that back in a good and safe way. Trying to build the tribal community's confidence back in this. Our engagement with tribal community is really important, and it is at the core of what we're doing. It is tribal community led, which is very important and a key to our success. Whenever you are not in a good way with tribal community and maybe forcing, the solution, it typically will fizzle out and not be successful. And so having the community on board and engaged with the program is really up at the utmost importance for us, and that they feel comfortable in what we're doing. This program is a way for our youth to help shape the future. They were part of our soil science program we did with UNCW environmental science program over the past year. So we've closed out that, and this becomes really kind of an action for that too, an unintended consequence, as we didn't know what we would find in our soil. That longleaf pine can be that solution for our community to help be safe, and we can educate and have our youth learn about how STEM is an important piece to that. And so we're really excited about the program, excited to get it started. I feel like it is ready to go. We have some really great people we'll be bringing on board to help with this, including a Hooheh program manager, which will manage the program. It's a part-time position. We also have a communications coordinator. We have a controlled burn coordinator along with that we'll be hiring as well, along with others for being provided stipends in the community. We're also hiring an education coordinator along with this program to have the 1-week program, and then also really helping in documenting our stories, and really providing a kind of a playbook of here's what we did and here's why that was important. Every tribal community is completely different. What works for us may not work for other tribal communities. And keeping the Waccamaw Siouan people at the core of what we're doing with the program really allows us to meet them where they're at. And so anyway, we're really excited about the program to get it going, and excited about future collaborations with this. And yeah, so I will share a link to some more information. You can learn about Waccamaw Siouan STEM Studio. Again, we're really excited about what this can do for not only our tribal community, but raising the next generation of environmentalists who's going to help carry our future through the next 7 generations, and being able to use this program to help do that. And the funding is really important for us, that we can help dictate and shape our future. And so we're really excited about it and to get it going. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being willing to learn and listen about the program. And yeah, so reach out if you have any questions. I will share my information at the bottom of the screen somewhere. And I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Thank you. Bye.